Strength training in children with cerebral palsy improves their ability to move and to walk. Today I'm here with Diana. Diana is an experienced pediatric physical therapist and will show you some ways to strengthen hips in children with cerebral palsy.
Hi, today we're going to talk about strengthening. I have my best friend here, Hannah, and Hannah's going to be helping me demonstrate the exercises for hip strengthening. Now, we often think that strengthening with cerebral palsy children is not of value because they move in such patterns that they should be strong. They are not. We have found over time that if we do particular strengthening exercises, such as the core and hip strengthening, that the children will improve function. Our older children and adults who have told us that with strengthening exercises, they feel more loose and they are able to improve the quality of their gait. So some of the exercises we'll do today, we'll start in sideline. So Hannah, first what we're going to do is try to lift our leg and come back down. Now, I'd like to see you as straight as possible. So I want her body as straight as possible. Hannah has some contractures in her hamstrings, so therefore she can't straighten her leg quite as much as I would like. I'm going to cue her with my hand, lift and come down. As she gets more control, I can put my hand on top and say, come hit my hand. Come on, Hannah, let's go. Beautiful. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, and down. I'm looking for quality of movement, not quantity. Let's go. Up. Wonderful. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and down. If she can do a little bit more resistance, we can try that. It's a progression. Up you come, and I can give some resistance here. Keep coming. I would like to see her past a horizontal, which means we're really using the hip abductors, and down. I understand she's using part of her other body, but I'm really focusing, this is what I want, so I'll tolerate the other movements. Beautiful. Now in this position, we could have her bring her lower leg up to the upper leg. So can you bring this leg up? Good, and down. And we want to keep her in a side position. Again, kiss those knees together. Good, and down. And now I can help her to get the motion first, if that will help her to have an idea what it feels like. Good, and down. One more time. Can you hold it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. You wonder why are we strengthening hip adductors, because we always think the children have too much, but we're asking for some motor control as well as the strengthening to isolate that one particular motion. Yeah. So we're going to do clamshells, which is a hip external rotation, and this one is hard for most children and they have cerebral palsy because we don't get a lot of external rotation. They're more internal rotation. So okay, Hannah, let's try. You're going to open the clam, shut the clam right onto my hand. Open the clam, shut the clam onto my hand. Open the hand, clam, shut it onto my hand. And you can see that I'm providing some assistance down here to get the motion. And you can also see that she's substituting up here. And so it would be ideal to give her some control, some stabilization as she tries this exercise. Okay, can you just hold it there? So trying to get her to hold it in some external rotation or to allow that motion. It's a very different feeling motion for her. Okay, can you try it again? She's trying hard. Good. So we did hip abduction, hip adduction for the other leg, hip external rotation. Now we can go lay on our back. And on our back, we can work on rotation again. And a lot of times I just want them to feel the length in their legs and just ask them to rotate in and rotate out. Now, you know CP, they're going to have an easy time rotating in. Go ahead. Now rotate out. And a lot of times you think they'll just flop out. But over time, they'll learn to push into your hand. There she went, and she went out. Can you push into my hand on this one? There she goes, a little bit, and out. For Hannah, I found she can only do one at a time because of the control that she has to work on so hard. So here we are, push into my hand and she goes out. Over here, I put her in neutral and push in my hand and she just has a little bit of movement. I can also go back and work on adductors. Bring your two knees together. Now push them apart. And I like to do them together, both motions, because one stimulates the motion for the other. So here we come. Get your hand, push against my hand, bring your knees together. Now push apart. Can you go on your stomach? And this one, I particularly like to work on hip extension, just this motion. So she has a tight hip flexor, and we're looking for this motion just coming up. It doesn't have to go up very far off the mat, and you can see as she adjusted the pillow, there comes the leg. You don't want both legs at the same time, just one. And most children have a hard time initiating it without, they initiate with a flexion pattern. So I cue them and say, let me bring it up, and you just, I'm going to let go and you hold it. And that seems to be a better place for them to start. You can watch here, you can palpate here, and you'll see how much her hip extensors are working. So, can you hold your leg up? Hold it up, Miss Hannah. There we go. Good. And come down. And hold it up. Good. And come down. So I'm just supporting here because it's too much for her to lift her entire leg. And I want to keep it in some flexion of the knee, bent knee. Keep coming. There we go. And come down. I would do the same to the other side. You might ask, how many repetitions should I have? I typically do 10 repetitions. If the quality is not as good, then I'll just stop the repetition. I'll just stop that exercise because I don't want them to practice something that's not of value. This would be a hip flexion. You can see that she uses a flexion synergy, which means that she brings external rotation, knee flexion, hip flexion, and she has some feet that come in. I would prefer, Hannah, for you to just go straight up. Try that. And down. And up. She was doing so well, I can give her a little resistance here for strengthening. And down. And note she didn't lean back while she was coming to bring the knee up. She just stayed straight. Again, bring it up and down. If she couldn't bring it up, again, I would put her in the position and say, hold it. And then that's a place to start. But she is active on her own in bringing it up and down. This side, can you bring it up? Perfect. And down. Bring it up. This is good isolation of movement for Hannah. And down. Can you, relax your legs, can you bring your two knees together? This is very difficult for Hannah. But this would be a nice exercise, is to have her bring her knees together and her knees out. Sometimes if you give resistance here, push away, good, and push in. Push away and push in. You see that I've activated more? She has. Push away, her adductors. Push away, in. Push away, in.